Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to the Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender Season 1, Episode 7, titled The North. As an attack on the Northern Water Tribe looms, Kitaro challenges a master waterbender, Sokka meets a princess, and Aang takes Kuruk's words to heart. Okay, so we are still getting the fight against Paku, which is interesting because they said they took all of the sexist elements out of this, and the main reason behind that was Paku saying that women can't learn combative waterbending. So that's interesting. Obviously, Sokka was always going to meet Yue. It's been pointed out to me that this is going to be a wee bit weird, the relationship between Yue and Sokka, considering this Sokka and this Suki got a lot closer in their time together than they did in the original, so that's a little weird. And we're seemingly getting Kuruk, which again makes me ask, did we really need to bring Roku into that last episode? Because it did not work. But yeah. So obviously this is going to be the episode 18 of the original, The Waterbending Master. And I'd assume it's also the start of the siege, though there wasn't anything in the synopsis to lead me to that conclusion, so who knows? There could be more stuff with Kuruk than I'm expecting. Yeah. Anyway, let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go. Also, unless it's for some reason going to be in the Siege of the North, what happened to Aang's firebending training? And again, he still hasn't done any waterbending, so you're really going to say that right in front of G? Like, so they're not staging an attack. To make it seem like the waterbenders took him out and everything? lasting jelly. Hmm. Interesting. Though there was still the attack, but it wasn't the pirates. Make it seem like the waterbenders did it, and then there being a um Zuko dressed up as a guard on his own ship. You know what it was also pointed out to me? That at no point in the southern water tribe is there ever a puff of breath in the cold air. Like with Aang, it makes sense. The firebenders, not really, because not many of them know the heating themselves with their own breath. But the waterbenders should still see their puffs of breath. Okay. I'm guessing that's what's his name from the anime. The one who Zhao just threw out a window. The medallion. also means that you're expendable. Hmm. So she's not the prodigy that she was. That would also explain why her fire is not blue all the time. Hmm. Already you can see they've changed her character up quite a bit. Maybe a few more words of that. And he's just a boy. Sea prunes that have been stewed. Hmm. Interesting. Sake, you're being a creep. Okay, UA's a bender. That is a change. I mean, it makes sense. Given she is infused with the power of the moon spirit, which gives the waterbenders their abilities, it makes sense that she's a bender. Also, using waterbending to make ice cream. No. Soccer, foot, out of mouth. Hmm. I think that was what's his name. Okay, yes. That part I did know that she did have a spirit form. Because I saw a thumbnail about meeting meeting UA in the spirit realm, but hmm, that's a very different dynamic. Hmm, yeah, considering that's what he did in the original. I mean, there is something he has that you don't know about. Okay, we are getting healing. She's not learning to do that herself, because that was in the same as the firebending master. I forget his name as well. That's the only waterbending teachers that exist. Whoa. Hmm. Well, now I feel awkward about having brought this up. There is. It's not so much he became enamored with it, it's the fact that the one before him let it fall into disregard, and he had to do that. That was his job as the Avatar, was fixing the spirit world. Because the Avatar is meant to do both, and unfortunately, Yang Chen neglected it. He focused too much on it. Both threw things out of balance. Hmm, that is a good workaround for making it so he can't. Well, I mean, that's the last three avatars who have said, yeah, friends are a bit of a liability when it comes to being the avatar. Because with Roku it was Sozin, with Kuruk it was Umi, with Kyoshi it was Rangi, and the one who betrayed her, whose name I forget. Part. Hmm. Uh, and yet he still left you in charge. To be fair, you were the oldest male left at the. Well, we do still have a little bit of time before he meets back up with his father. I mean, you quite literally are the boy who was in her dreams, so. It also implies that her 16th birthday was between Heibai and here, so. Hmm. Hmm. Isn't water the element of change? they kept the figurehead on Zhao's ship. Zhao, the Moon Slayer. Hmm. So, no. Hmm. Well, yeah. I'd say she's a lot smarter than Zhao. All three. Hmm. You missed. What was that little head bob? Hmm. I am not happy he had the same response that I did. and splash. Yeah, to pull the arm out from behind his back. That was more airbending than waterbending. Like, I know it's snow, but you just blew my hair out of its thing. That's that's straight out of the original. I don't remember him frozoning it. That's more Iceman because he's not actually skating, but innovation has struck curiosity. I No, that doesn't work well. That doesn't flow off the tongue as well. Um, it's raining soot. I've actually been in a place where it was raining soot before. It was California. Last time I was there were bushfires up in the hill, and yeah, someone who'd never experienced that before. That was a wee bit freaky, but that was a interesting episode. Like there were parts of that were beat for beat the same as what happened in the original. They also added new things, which, as I said, they make sense with Yue's character. Her being infused by the moon spirit's power, it does make sense that she would gain spirit-like abilities, such as waterbending, because all waterbending comes from the moon spirit, and the I don't know about the spirit form itself, but the ability to see and commune with spirits, possibly. Heck, I even accept the traveling to the spirit realm, but because we know highly enlightened characters can do that. Iroh does it multiple times. We know Zahir and that can do it, so it makes sense. To be fair, Zahir was after it had been opened, so I'm not sure that technically counts, but yeah, it makes sense that if she is part spirit, then she would have spirit-like abilities. They completely changed Han's character, which, yeah, makes sense. He was a joke in the original, and literally just all I remember is him and Sokka getting into a fight in the barracks, him somehow storming Zhao's ship, and then just being tossed straight overboard. And I'm like, they actually made him a character. He found this guy who's from a different area, different training styles, has actually fought the enemies that they're going to be up against. And he's like, hey, can you tell us what you know? Can you give us tips in that? And they actually put together a bit of a good rapport. And he actually cares about Yue in this, which I can't remember if he did in the original. I don't think he did. But yeah, so that's another change. They gave Parku a little bit more of this in this, but they kept him majority the same. They didn't do the whole finding out that he was betrothed to Gran Gran, which is interesting. Because wasn't that sort of the catalyst that changed his mind after the fight? Was finding out that she was related to Gran Gran? They actually did a better job at explaining the healing properties of water in this, rather than it just being a glowing light that runs along those mannequins. We actually see that no, they're practicing running through chi paths with water, which makes more sense than that it has actually some explanation. They kept the thing with Zuko being blown up, then infiltrating Zhao's ship as one of the soldiers with the full mask, so they don't know it's him. Zhao being sent on a quest to take the north because the Avatar is going to be there. I swear in the original he framed it as waterbenders did it, and that's why they attacked the north. But now I'm starting to question that with the information we were given about his quest in this by Ozai. Also, what the hell is in that box? I don't remember anything like that in the original. We got to see Kuruk, and they did go through just the basic steps of his story from the prequels. Well, I forget actually what we learned that in. Is it the Kyoshi books or is it one of the other ones? I don't remember. Interestingly, they didn't talk about how the reason that the spirits were angry and threatening the physical world was because the previous Avatar had ignored them. That's an interesting thing. Though I feel we may, if no, because they already went to the Southern Air Temple, and so there's no real chance to talk to Yang Chen. Unless she's in, what is it, the Western Air Temple? Unless she's there and they talk to him, though, why would she be there? How many air temples do we go to in the original? Is it 3 or 4? Because I know we go to the north and south, obviously, because there are episodes titled the Southern Air Temple and the Northern Air Temple. We know they go to one of the other ones, because that's the upside down one where they meet Sparky Boom Man the second time. But do they go to the other one? I can't. Is that where Guru Lahima is? Was Lahima? Yeah, or was that the one that thing I was obsessed with? Okay, it's the Western Air Temple that they go to. I'm guessing since there's no episode named after it, they don't go to the Eastern Air Temple in the original. But yeah, unless they do take a trip to another air temple, and that, if they do get a season 2 of this, and Aang does have to speak to the Guru and that, rather than that, it could be him talking to Yang Chen. That would make sense. And then we can learn her backstory as well. But yeah. To be honest, talking to Kyoshi at Kyoshi Island made sense. Talking to Kuruk in the Northern Water Tribe makes sense. Why did they do Roku other than, oh, it was in the original, we have to do this? Like, if they were going to change it up in the way they did, and give the avatars specific reasons to be spoken to, specific points they have to be in to be spoken to, and that relates to finding out more about their backstory and everything, I would have saved Roku for his backstory in season 3. Like, I wouldn't have bothered putting him in this. And then for it to immediately be followed by the avatar of the Northern Water Tribe, who actually has a connection with Ko and everything, it just doesn't make sense. And it is purely this was in the original, we have to put this in here. But yeah, all the other stuff made sense in this episode. And the thing that I'm complaining about doesn't make sense, wasn't even in this episode, but, yeah. But there were... This was either exactly the same as the original, or it was changes that made sense to the original. It's not like a Boomy thing where, okay, yes, this is a more realistic take on the character, where this is how someone would act. Finding out that your friend, who was turned out to be the Avatar, disappeared for 100 years, you've then had to lead your city through 100 years of war, and then all of a sudden, that same friend shows up, and he's still acting like a child while you've been hardened by all the things you've gone through. Yeah, that made sense. But it also was a massive departure from the original. Whereas here, everything that was changed just adds on to the original. Like, it's not complete character... Well, Han was a complete character change, but I say for the better. But yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed this episode, and yeah, so I'm gonna end this one here. Catch you in the next one.